Wonderful women, hello, 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 hello. If you're watching this on replay, happy morning or happy evening, happy afternoon. And for all of you living in Australia, I'm hoping that you're having a fantastic lunchtime. So today I was meant to share this space with my partner in crime and mindset coach of the Period Comeback Protocol, Jade Cameron, also owner and founder of the It's a Mind Game podcast. But unfortunately, her little Baba is unwell. So don't you worry, she's going to come back next Tuesday, and I'm just going to wish her well for now. So today we were discussing different topics that we could have brushed to you, but I had to change things last minute, and so I decided to speak about thyroid health and why is it important for you to get your period back, because everyone knows about sex hormones, everyone knows about cholesterol, but not that many of you are taking the thyroid into considerations, and I'm going to explain to you why it is important, what to test, and what to do to support it. Just to give you a heads up, I'm going to read my notes because I don't want to forget anything that is super important. And if you have any questions, just please comment in the comment section. And by the way, talking about comments, I've been receiving a huge amount of messages. I have some emails, some comments on YouTube, some DMs on Instagram, some comments on my Instagram page, Facebook, and so on and so forth. And there are so many of you that are asking questions after watching my videos. So many of you that have not decided to get fully supported through this process, and they're sitting there. You're sitting there with more questions than answers. So what I'm gonna do this Saturday, I'm gonna answer your questions. So I'm gonna post something here on the Recover from HA support group on Thursday. So I'm gonna post a post. I'm gonna pin it to the top, and I'm gonna ask you, please, do you have any questions? Let me know. Just write them down below, and I'm gonna answer them all, and I'm gonna try to answer them all on Saturday Live. The reasons, because I don't spend too much time answering to you all individually, is first of all, because if you have that question, possibly hundreds of you are having the same question, so it's actually better for me to answer that specific question live. And also because I wish that I had more time in my life, but I work more than 5 days out of 7. Sometimes I work up to 10 to 14 hours a day. And honestly, when I get to the end of the day, there is no way that I can jump on social media to answer more questions, because it's really unhealthy for me. And I want to make sure that I'm fully recharged and enthusiastic the next day, so I can show up to all the beautiful women that have said yes and have decided to work with me. And I want to preserve my energy for what is important for me, and for all of you that have been trusting me with this work and with this journey. Now, so keep an eye for the post. And one more side note. As I told you before, that there is no space in the Period Comeback Protocol. And actually yesterday, 3 days ago, a beautiful woman got her period back. And yesterday, another woman decided to join us. So I'm so super excited. So at the moment, once again, we are at full capacity, but there is one spot left for the baby Period Comeback Protocol, for the baby version of it. So I launched it on Monday, so that was yesterday. 3 women said yes straight away, and there is only one spot left. So if you're interested, if you're curious, if you want to learn more about it, just head to my Instagram page or comment below and just ask for the link, or simply just check my emails, because normally I send you emails with all this information. So if you want to be part of it, just feel free to ask. Okay, all right, done and dusted with all the news. Now let's talk about thyroid, right? So in my opinion, the thyroid is one of the most misunderstood, poorly tested, and inaccurately interpreted blood tests that I've ever come across. I often hear the phrase, my doctor tested my thyroid and said it was normal. Mind you, I always hear people saying, my doctor tested my hormones and he said that they were normal. And in most cases, they aren't. And especially if you haven't had a period for a long period of time, chances are that your tests aren't optimal, that your blood results should be slightly different, right? So coming back to the thyroid, when someone says, look, they've tested it, it's normal. My first question is, what thyroid marker did your doctor test? And I'm going to put money on the fact that the marker that the doctor tested was TSH, which is the thyroid stimulating hormones. And we'll say that in 95% of the clients I see, this is the only marker that get tested. TSH is just one marker of thyroid health. So if we translate it in sex hormones, it's like testing your FSH without taking into consideration LH, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, sex hormone binding globulin, FAA, so free androgen index, and more things that are not coming to mind right now. So can you now understand that TSH is just a little teeny part of the picture, and it does not indicate how much thyroid hormones you have in storage, how much of your thyroid hormones is active, and it certainly doesn't tell me if your antibodies are raised. Raised antibodies can precede a diagnosis of autoimmune thyroid disease up to 5 to 10 years. What does it mean for you? That you could have raised antibodies, you could have had raised antibodies for years without seeing TSH move out of the range. So now imagine if you could have found out as a 20-year-old, 25 years old, that you are at risk for developing an autoimmune thyroid condition. How much is that going to change the trajectory of your health, right? So just to give you an idea, why do we need a thyroid, right? So everyone is very familiar with the HPA axis, which is the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and adrenal axis. But there is another one, which is called HPT axis, which is the hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid gland. It's all very much connected, and having adequate sex hormones really support your thyroid health, and having adequate thyroid hormones is going to support the production of sex hormones, and it's going to help with your cycle and how you feel in general, and it's also going to be able to support your mental health. So the thyroid gland is like the spark plug to all the cells in your body. It gets our metabolism going, it regulates the heartbeat, the temperature, progesterone production, cholesterol, and so much more. So I'm going to list a few symptoms right now, and just think on the back of your mind if you have been experiencing any of these, right? So one is unexplained weight gain, or also on the other side of the spectrum, unexplained weight loss. And unexplained is something that I would like to underline. Another one is fatigue, constipation, heavy periods, missing periods, unexplained infertility, low progesterone, thinning of 1/3 of the eyebrow, brittle and dry nails, skin and hair, sometimes also vivid dreams, vivid nightmares, low basal body temperature, low mood, feeling quite depressed, high cholesterol, puffiness in the face, in the neck, and constantly feeling cold in the hands and feet. So if you have experienced any of those symptoms, type thyroid in the comment section. Even if you're watching this live, let's really activate your brain and see if you can type thyroid right now. Some of these symptoms, you may have noticed a correlation between hypothalamic amenorrhea and poor thyroid health. And the reasons behind it, it's because they're very much connected, and they work in symbiosis. Is that how you say it? That the word is just slipping out of my mind. But anyway, if you have experiencing any of these symptoms and you have been working to quite hard to get your period back, these are a few things that I really would like you to test. So the first one is TSH, the one that we mentioned before. TSH is a pituitary hormone, so it's not really part of the thyroid. It's just secreted by the pituitary gland, which is why we say HPT axis. The pituitary gland is located in the brain, and it produces thyroid hormones. TSH should increase when thyroid hormone levels that are T3 and T4 are detected as low in the body. So normally here in Australia, we like our TSH to be somewhere between 1 to 2.5. So if it's under 1, it means that it's hyperactive. So your metabolism is going very fast. And that's normally seen in conjunction with women suffering from hypothalamic amenorrhea, pregnancy, postpartum anxiety, and so on and so forth. But then the American Association for Clinical Chemistry reports that 95% of people living without hypothyroidism have a TSH value of under 2.5. So if your thyroid is above 2.5, then it's really important for you to actually have a conversation with your doctor, even though your doctor is always looking for the sick range instead of the optimal range. So instead of only talking to your doctor, just make sure that you find a professional that is well-versed in sex hormones and thyroid hormones, like I am, to really create a plan of actions to get your thyroid back on track and to get your sex hormones back on track. So we spoke about TSH. The other one is free T4. Free T4 is a thyroid hormone which is produced by the thyroid gland. It is the storage form of thyroid hormone, which is the non-active one, and is converted into active T3 as needed. Okay, so the level normally should be somewhere between 14 to 18, and then there are so many things to say about that range. Anyway. Free T3, which is also called triiodothyronine, is the metabolically active thyroid hormone. Is the one that can drive under or overactive thyroid symptoms. So T3 productions come from T4 conversion. So what levels should you aim for? Less than 4 indicates that the thyroid gland is not making enough free T3. Okay, so normally T4 and T3 ranges should be a 3.1 ratio between the two. Okay, so my ideal range is T4 at about 15 and a T3 of about 5. Now, I've been mentioning so many numbers and so many different markers that you may feel quite confused right now. So don't you worry, you don't have to remember them all, but just keep it in the back of your mind that it's really important for you to discuss your thyroid health with your practitioner. Check your TSH, which is the thyroid hormones that gets produced by the pituitary gland, and also your T4, which is the hormones that is produced inside the thyroid gland that normally gets converted into free T3. And so also make sure to check free T3. The last two that I really also would like you to consider is TPO antibodies. So TPO is an enzyme that is found in the thyroid gland and helps produce thyroid hormones. TPO antibodies basically attack this enzyme to block the thyroid hormone production. So it's really important to get that tested, because high level above 1,000 normally suggest Hashimoto thyroiditis. The other one is TGABS, so it's called anti-thyroglobulin antibodies. And these thyroglobulin antibodies are specific for thyroglobulin, which is a protein involved in thyroid hormone production. Once again, high level of these antibodies could indicate Hashimoto hypothyroidism or Graves' disease. So it's really important to get them tested. When to test them? How to test them, actually. So if you have a menstrual cycle, do not test between day 10 and 20 of the menstrual cycle, because your sex hormones are going to impact the results of your thyroid. Don't eat any food 12 hours prior to doing the testing, so overnight fast. And I know that if you speak with your doctor, they're going to say, yeah, don't worry, you can definitely check your thyroid even if you had breakfast. That's incorrect, because it's going to give you not a false marker, but it's going to screw the results slightly. If you're taking thyroid medication, make sure that you test yourself before taking thyroid medication. Otherwise, once again, it's not going to show up on paper what your thyroid is really doing. And also, if you're taking biotin, like to support your hair, to support your nails, cease biotin for 3 days prior. Something else that I normally love to check is also serum iodine, just to make sure that you have enough iodine in your body, just to convert T4 into T3 and to optimize the production of TSH. But unfortunately, lots of doctors, they're not really keen in checking the serum iodine levels. Vitamin D is another thing that I really would like to see in conjunction with your thyroid testing. So thyroid testing, I'm going to be very transparent, can feel really overwhelming, especially when you have your doctor telling you that you're fine or that your thyroid results are normal. Most of the time is like rowing against current, and getting the yes, you can get your thyroid tested from your doctor is quite painful. And I've been through that, and I completely get it if you had the same experience. But it's definitely worth it, especially if you have been feeling any of the symptoms that I listed before. And my hope for all the women that are listening to this is that now you have more information to know exactly what needs to be done in terms of testing your thyroid, and why your thyroid is so important and is so very much connected to your vitality, period health, and mental health. Alrighty, so now that you have this information, I spoke about PCOS yesterday, talking about thyroid today. I'm gonna open up for questions on Saturday, so I'm gonna leave a post on the Recover from HA support group where you can ask your questions just underneath the comments. So I have easy access to the questions and I can actually see them. If you really would like to become part of the baby period comeback protocol, there is one spot left. I've already received some interest, so please let me know if you want to be part of it, because I don't want you to miss out, but I'm finalizing numbers, so that's it. And I'm gonna close it this week. So just make sure that you make an informed decision and you join me if that's something that you are called to do. And in any way, also if you decide not to join me, not to work with me, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you get the right support. Don't think too much about it, because it's so much better to take one imperfect step instead of waiting too long, procrastinating for years, and finding yourself in a decade suffering from infertility, missing periods, thyroid conditions. And I'm sounding too doom and gloom right now, so just please ignore me. Seriously speaking, I'm gonna come back tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Sydney time, to discuss weight gain in recovery. Woohoo! See you all tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.